So be a chief justice or say a suspending no court refie. Because sometimes omutumi a judge in their own court. Because we call them my lord. But the omunye nyame. Nyame. Onunkutu ena tumi nyina yeden eye ne dia. But yesi yepe kamima mekabi. So under this democratic dispensation, yedi tumi bi ashe bi mu ensa powers ne yibi dia mo into all the three arms, the executive, legislature, and then the judiciary. Media, no, we be in the fourth estate of the realm. We know we recognize it biasa. And you heard the echo. But today, and no Abraham Temi Kema metie suspended chief justice are on my beam. No, me beside one say, I want to read law, yes, and very soon I will start. Now, me come my dream say into Ghana ha. One more my lawyers and now my judges on Kwani Nimbrana. Some so me can kind me obi a me a history to me pa can kai pa. Because me for me no mo ko school di omu say I can kind there me obi a me pa can kind. Beti my LPM sia e wo ha nyina me hwe paper bia so. Me classmate for me no mo wie school. Ubi sami obi a number telephone number mebo ama. Ubi sami ministers obi a number mebo ama me hwe paper bia so. Eye adom achede opa kenkaya woko wanim. Especially obi a we nsentwere ni da bia wo se wo ridi. Ti sometimes obi timi wo se Mugabe won na ebeda na mada. Me da enye yie. Yes, because me da de me no challenge no obesa me ho te me ndan we sa me ho ba bia me ko bia no me stars no mo shine because number 1 na me pe but then me bisa me ho say we a chief justice suspended do knowing very well say ba bia ye duro no o resign a enye yie o retire enye yie na Otumfo tro go Ghana fo ani say when you ready say o ba resign na ba retire. I mean, what is all this sabe nonsense coming from? Like as if we don't read. We don't know A and we don't know B. All these are nonsense. It doesn't make sense to me. Because nonsense, I mean, it doesn't make sense to every Ghanaian. We'll be a parking kind. Yeah, we're reading 1992 constitution. Go, we're reading 2 out. No, sir, no, the mamma Bekayano. Yes, I send me. So journalists be to make our Ghana house say it. So no foot run over 2 years. Up public sympathy. But she won't get it from anywhere. And that is why I'm here today. Yes. So simple thing I open unya. Your appointees, those who appointed you, you can go and then dine with them, whatever you want to do with them, do with them. But the time is over. You can't resign and you can't retire. The law is what? The law is what? Allistar, let me hear your voice. The law is what?
The law is the law.
The law is what?
The law is the law.
You can't resign and you can't retire at this stage.
Yes, not at all.
You can't.
That's what I prefer.
So you coming out as suspended chief justice to tell Ghanaians they say, won't resign and resign or China or retire. And you're nonsense. Madam Tokornor, and nonsense. It doesn't make any sense to any Ghanaian. You can't convince me. Because where we are now, no, you can't retire and you can't resign. Suspended chief justice. And now one more see and discuss so. Yes. And that 2020 a year elections, no. Muna ka say Jemesa mo medina da kem ana meboa. And I say ya mo obi a medina ma wo how. Abaye de boy tachi no. Saba na ne de babo. And this former check. Yes. What's what corner Jemesa happy a hen ne boss wa mo nyina follow. 146 na. 146 na. Those those media guys who have been paid to come out and defend this, I'm waiting for them. Me say no press conference na Tokornor be useless. Suspended Chief Justice press conference na be a waste of your time. So abaje airwaves no that peak time. You was here discussing your papa Ghana. You have been suspended. Be in that corner. Be there. Remain there. We don't need anything from you, Madam Chief Justice. Yeah, you're suspended. You're suspended. We need powers to be able. Was I a teacher go? I have got full. Was I go? Yes. Power na ya jumano. Sa abaya odian. So say the law is the law. A man na ya jumano. Baby a pano. I want you say, yeah, tears are from now. Why in the Constitution? Tell us. Missy me obi me parking kind. I don't need a lawyer to come and tell me, say, where we are, no, Madam Suspended Chief Justice, you can't retire or you can what? Resign. That time is over. The initial stage, and I now want that will. So, to me, you can decide, say, you both say, you refer where you need to Council of State, blah, blah, blah. You establishing anything. That stage, can resign, you can't be any asem. By establishing prima what? Against what? You can't resign and you can't retire. The law is the law. So the other country and in sabi a nonsense. I did nonsense. Say just be anya deni. Any muteni you nyatem didie. A useless nonsense and waste of our time. That big time. Waste. And that sympathy now, you will never get it. The law is the law. We know Timothy speak and say good. And then the office say, what do you want to refuse? Do power say who about addressing the nation about what? When you Ghana man because about what? Are you the president? And you why I say I mean obi why I was at a marking some before the money so more opposition. Useless ones. Allistar, share in this country. Let me say it here today. I've gone through a lot. I have what? Gone through a lot. Minya land issue. They changed the judges 3 times. Yes. Last year, 15th May, 16th May, 2024. And a minya judgment. First one, you see the gun chain. Second one, you gun chain. Third one, I fed ye. The metiti say, judge and a crown be a winning contest be. The method is a judge and a crown, court no dear seminal, Yachina yading, a few. Because obe the petition a command chief that fear the other court. When you're so caught. Said you know one another year, Sana used to my and obey. 146 now. Charlotte say no no. You will so by a press conference. I buy the board testing and money at the Baba. You try my gun about for me, Pejomu, useless people. Take it, say the law is the law. And baby, my drone will be to me come masem. I'm out for bread under the useless president Akufo-Addo anymore. And the time is now for us, say, you better reset Ghana. You better reset the judiciary. You better reset the parliament. The executive, Bibia Juma, code of conduct. Pointed bien how about misbehave, who misbehave about fire, me medical fire. Kudos to Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Asiama. Fire them without fear or favor. Dr. Johnson Asiama, fire them without fear or favor. Who be a Ghana ninja will be. Yatra ana Tokornor hununa amount for Ghana. Subhanallah. Tokornor hununa amount for her. Ya de judges, people for them judges. Amount for Ghana. That time, that era is over. Yes. Mikasa say obia. Me what to me na mikasa chiro. The time is now. And I'm more way no. Me make a hobby. Joma Ophelia, my fairly or succeed, ma succeed. Ghana Subedi and John Mahama, he has started very well. The lives of my boss, Honorable Julius Zabra, Dr. Kalisus, Joyce Bawa, Sandogbe, Omo Boajo Mahama, the ministers, Dr. Omane Buama, Honorable Kofi Bua, Honorable Akando, Honorable George Napo, Honorable Samuel Okujoto Ablakwa, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Honorable Muntaka, Lawyer Sami Jemfi, Dr. Asiama, Dr. Kesilatu Forsen. Name them. Edojita Makro, Honorable Elizabeth Ajare, Honorable Eric Opoku, Honorable Colin Zada, and Hajayedin. Dr. Randy Abbey. Capacity Dr. Randy Abbey. My good brother, Dr. Randy Abbey. Honorable Kofi Adams. Elvis Afriye Ankra. Marietta Bill Opon. Malik
Kita law now protect.
Our European press conference. I'm
supposed to be head.
Yes,
the DPR Bontimba. Now, no, as you, the person who is being reviewed, who are here,
useless,
who are Pia Babonti, who are Nimra. On some Makatilo say, on no need no Kayano, the law is the law. No, not too many crano.
Yes,
and now
there are 2 minutes in the
side. I make you say, if the law is the law, who are Ukita law now protected law? You also must be checked. So one says, see, I know. They said the law is the law because it ended with her. But now it is beyond her. The law is the law is the law.
And she's not better than those.
I'm saying that the principles law the buy no. Because to me just time tells the story. Mugabe, Emreka clear to mu ya yehunu wo TV so na John Mahama kasa wo baby. Na shenenim say no see yes, look at her memes that she expressed on national television. Yes. Yesterday I tried to see her face. How she's troubled. Shenenim nenima etum sa semno electrify no. The law is an electricity.
The law is what?
It's an electricity.
Yeah, more fire.
One can hear more fire. Protected Clovia. A bit shocking.
My come
and I shocking no. Who did I see obi? You free you go see law. What's it 38 years? Bonche. The law is the law. The law is the law. The law is the law. More fire. Third one actually.
Yes.
Yes.
1 year. 1 year.
Or maybe JM.
Any baby no. Netama son.
When na. When you marking court at 2 o'clock. By 5 no I am panel. When
12 and
by 2 no I am panel.
Yes 1 year. Anyway.
Time tells a story. I'm saying time tells a story. She should show me where our eyes. You now need a press conference to do what?
To do what?
In the middle of your investigation.
What are they saying for?
I don't know.
And who should listen to?
No, maybe the 3.8%. That's what I'm addressing. Nobody will listen to me. The law is the law is the law. Third one. Third participant.
Where are your first half?
And
the way you do so when
we want to hear the voices of reason. They must rise above her discord. And then speak up because she wants to spill the law because she's in trouble and she has lost it. And no
one is above the law.
Nobody is allowed. You call someone prison where who doctor no where who no. There be the law or no so. When you are someone who about Hobino, Abbas,
Gabas.
Yes, no. When who former headmaster, assistant master,
Dr. Chembua,
when Dr. Chembua, Amun Kita
Chatamakwa,
when
Chachuba Sunanamida,
Salome. So, yeah, Papa, let me referee the Kwame I'm body there. Sorry,
I was such a
MPA finance graduate. More fire. They have been to prison and back.
Dan Agbodapi.
Yes. No, a diversity implementation committee. Yesterday, they demonstrated her egoistic, arrogant, her
now say security near the for one who no, it shouldn't be.
Look at what she talks about. No, she talks about the position as Chief Justice. Me as Chief Justice. 6 feet at last. Who are there now? They call. Who are Chief Justice for Ghana? And I'm going to Chief Justice.
Chief Justice for my
and it must get to you clear. To pension here monuments are going Emma Unsem. And you are not the first person as Chief Justice who has been removed. If you don't know, let me remind you. Justice Seyaku Kosa, are you any better person than that man? Yes. Kwame Nkrumah removed him when he failed to sentence the people who were
Seyaku Kosa.
Yes, Seyaku Kosa.
So social studies and
Mugabe, I did all together. Fantastic. I know Aku Kosa. I know the grandson who is a lawyer today, a competent lawyer.
It was a Chief Justice. Yes, it is. We're your first time, man. You're a Chief Justice.
It cannot be true. She comes from Winnipeg. Aku Kosa comes from Winnipeg. Aku Kosa comes from Winnipeg. She should know
the same place.
Yes, where she comes from.
Thank you.
Aku Kosa was removed. Say Aku Kosa.
Fantastic.
I know the grandson. I'm saying he's an effective lawyer in town today.
More fire.
Giving many people legal services. Highly intelligent person. And look, the reason for the in-camera hearing, you have broken it. The Article 146(2), you are in breach of the 1992 Constitution, madam. You are in breach of it. You have come to tell us the story as pertains in the in-camera hearing. We don't want to listen. The state does not want us to listen. That is why the state shelved it from us in this article. And there's a reason to it. You have broken the trust of the people, quoting public sentiments. Yes. Now you're setting committee in the middle of it. Who challenge committee? Look at the hatred and venom coming from your mouth against Gabriel, Palmwine, Scott. What? I mean, the chairman of the committee. Look at how the words that came out of your mouth to describe
useless statement.
To describe Gabriel, Palmwine, Scott. How and why? That's hatred. And then one of your vilifiers, I say so because you call them vilifiers, Daniel Ofori, who has a case against you. That man, look at the words you used to describe him. Mami, officer Ubro. And you've got to do a press conference.
What?
This is what I call press theatrics. Theatrics of the press. Me yesterday I didn't watch. Me who do share. If I like what we feel, come dum TV no. Why mamuni ado? Dum TV on share. Onu ni
for nonsense. It doesn't make sense.
Emre times has really told the story. Mugabe, look, waste of this is a clear case of what I call a brazen orgy of a facade to cut public sentiments. Na nie we ono ka so tim na da se o mse be bia di na du no, ye di na nusuo no mu. What say kura wo da nsuo ma o pray biom. Nti na wie ya ba. Nti so pray. No, do be since clutching onto straws on high oceans. Waka. Yes,
you know.
It's Mugabe. 146 na. 146 na. Yes, that's it.
This shall not say call
146 na.
The men are self prepared.
They say 146 na.
The men are boss my any appear.
Mugabe. Yesterday it was a cacophony of unredeemed noises coming from that Tokornor woman. Tell her that I said so. So the law is the law.
She's nobody.
Is the law.
She's nobody.
She has been caught up in
suspended.
Yes.
Quiet.
You called those times.
Be quiet.
That there were cacophony of noises.
Be quiet.
Today,
Madam, House of Folk, you must
be quiet and don't be silly. Madam Tokornor, listen. Fantastic. The law is ahead of you.
Yes.
You rather went to learn the law. So the law is far ahead of you. And there are people who know the law better than you. You are put in your position not based on merit, but by political partisan coloration. And today it is clear. You sit with those people who appointed you at your press conference. They are the people who are running around you. A former attorney general is your lawyer. So everybody has seen your partisan coloration. Indeed, you could not be Chief Justice. Indeed, you cannot be Chief Justice as a partisan as you have demonstrated even in recent times. So your suspension
spoke about
you will never come back.
About the judges.
That's Mugabe. That's what I want to tell you.
Was shocked.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Listen, Mugabe. Anybody who wants to clutch onto that history is a wicked person. Because you're not the one who was killed. You're not the one. Kojoe Japan was killed. FP Sarkodie was killed. And Justice Grantinado.
More fire.
And then Major Aqua, he was Colonel, he was dropped to later to Major Aqua. in the army because of the involvements in trying to overthrow a champion's government. That's what I heard. Mugabe, as some way see, under Article Law 15 of the PNDC law, they set up a committee quickly, a special investigations board, and do a Justice Azukrab, Samuel Azukrab. If you know his name in legal history, go and find out. He was the former Chief Justice of Ghana. He was made to head the Special Investigations Board to oversee the trouble that had come. It was on 3rd July that Rawlings 1982 was briefed. Quickly, when they set up the board, investigations started. And don't think that we don't know the history. People were arrested and brought before the court. Yes, you have Lance Corporal America and Lance Corporal Michael Senya, and then you have Johnny Jandu and Tony Teko, and then Joaquim Amatekwe. These 5 people were brought and tried in the competent tribunal and sentenced to death. In the middle of the trial, America ran away. You can check in 1983, June 1983, breakout from this. He managed to run away. He ran away with Johnny Jandu and Tony Teko, but they were rearrested and brought back. But America got away. So those people were sentenced. And even when they were sentenced, former President Rawlings went to Joaquim Amatekwe to hear his last words because of certain allegations that were going on around certain individuals that were close to Rawlings. I don't want to say this thing, but Mugabe, when Captain Kojoti Kata was about to pass on, he made a comment on air. He made a comment in the media that assembly they are telling me very painful comment, and I still share those sympathies. That somebody who knew nothing about it. So Rawlings went to where Amatekwe was to find out from him finally what the true story was, and indeed people were indeed sent to prison. People were shot. Amatekwe was killed by firing squad. So Mugabe, assembling in the SIB sat, they had their investigations, they prosecuted, and people were executed. It's 45 years or 44 years down the line when the judges were murdered. Why would anybody at this time try to clutch onto those straws? It's because they have belonged to that school of thought for a long time, and nobody has questioned them. The family of those affected, they must question this woman. You call up a Deuce Lodge, a horror center. A Deuce Lodge is part of the state's hotels commission. Go and find the state hotels and catering rest house. It was part of it. And up until today, it's close to the castle. That's where we host, our big presidents who you don't need to take them to the hotel. You understand? You have a vista, big vista that you. So a Deuce Lodge is not a trial center. Even your courts, you Madam Tokornor, your courts that you presided over. When you get to Ghana courts, you are terrified. You enter any court and you have a matter with somebody, especially if it is criminal. You are terrified. Even your court environment, you couldn't change it. You are coming to tell us that a Deuce Lodge is what? You are talking about your uncle. You want to play on your uncle's death. And let me tell you something. I'll say it here now. Nobody hates
the time is now.
The time is now. Joaquim Amatekwe, he was the personnel manager for Gihok. Joaquim, what's his name? Major Samakwa was the personnel manager for Gihok. And at the time, Gihok
give us the history, Allistar.
They had gone on demonstration led by Joaquim Amatekwe, and they were sacked. They ransacked Parliament on 5th June 1980, and they were all sacked. They went to court several times. So who sacked them? It was you, Samakwa, who sacked them. Then lo and behold, December 1981, there's a military coup. This guy also gets power. What do you think he'll do to you? If indeed he was the one who did it, what do you think he'll do to you?
The
Edu Lodge facility that the hearings are being conducted in featured very prominently in the planning of the murder of judges on June 30th, 1981. And this can be read about in the special investigative report on that terrible event in our nation's history. It will be recalled that there was a Major Samakwa, a military officer who was killed with the 3 High Court justices, who was the director of human resource of Gihok. He was my uncle and my guardian when I entered the University of Ghana in September 1980. I was also living with him at the time he was abducted and murdered. Was Edu Lodge chosen for my inquiry to make me feel insecure? I think so. And I continue to hold the view that there's no reason why a judicial hearing is being conducted behind.
No, Allistar, you know what? This woman is useless.
Yes.
And we shouldn't allow her to get nearer to that judiciary.
Suspended.
She's nobody.
No, not at all.
No, she's nobody.
6 feet.
But no,
does it
read at all? Who commissioned Adu's Lodge?
Is it not Nanado? Nanado never refurbish or no commission here. So if it's a horror,
so
and then Nanado never horror now. She made a mistake in alluding to the
educate her.
30th June 1982, madam. It's not 30th June 1981. You are in a rush. And why do you want to clutch on that history? If your uncle was involved, are you your uncle? Are you your uncle? Do you know what? Mugabe, Mami can't tell. You think America, those in this smoke who went to pick the people up, you think they just went at gunpoint and they said, come and pass? I'm not tricking them. Say you're 2 Rollins. They have sacked Rollins. They have moved Rollins from where he is. So they need them to come and rationalize the state. So they even where they were at that position, they were coerced to follow up. One year two obi I see the power won't pay. I'm telling you, that's why one of the judges at that before he managed to run away. Justice at that before, go and find out the High Court judge. He managed to run away when those people came because Mukachire said, mo ope power. Na dey na mo pe akodi echire because who fear no yire. And now why would you leave at that time in the middle of the night when you know there's a curfew? When people are looking for you, you're a senior person in the society. Why should you know there's a curfew in town?
NOPA.
There are some of them a bit of hold on. Or catch any kun say no, stay behind, I'll go with them. Then you catch any here in the down diomochi. Sana, remember no so come fear they told their wives to stay back. Then you catch them. You catch them say you're 2 Rollins ago. So they knew those lawyers. I'm telling you, I spoke to a military person. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but the American, I want to tell that part of the law. That part of the law. Say lawyers now, you want to hang on to this murder of the judges. You don't want to change the judiciary too. And you don't want the judiciary to represent the people's interest.
Yes.
Now only meditate. But I meditate the only. And then 26 June. And then 46 years I call farm go for free. Ebe kuom wo tesi enu de yankan wasem Nanato jubilated on that day 46 years ago. He drank wine oboya onumunsa he drank allegedly. Yes. Napa see your people were shot. At Champon was shot 10 days earlier, and then those people were free far was brought all the way. 46 exactly. I don't know why you brought me here today. 26 June. I don't know why. Today is exactly 46 years, and I want to remind everybody. I'm not part of your panel.
But did you ask me to bring you?
No.
But the angels.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Sir, they should know. And they should understand.
Why you are that is why you
time indeed tells the story.
You are the deputy CEO.
Thank you. I take it. I take it. Yes.
Tobo. Yenti ensemodi kan editu dwa no.
Sir.
Okekan ye ni ade you do yenti.
Yenti kakra.
First one.
Fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be here today to commission the renovated Asiedu Diplomatic Lodge, a facility that embodies the generosity, vision, and patriotism of one of Ghana's finest sons, Mr. Amishadai Larson Edu, A.L. Edu, as he was popularly known. Today, as we reflect on this exceptional project, we celebrate not only the physical edifice before us, but also the values and legacy of a man who dedicated his life to public service and diplomacy. Mr. A.L. Edu's contributions to Ghana and the international community serve as an enduring reminder of what one individual, guided by a sense of duty and love for his or her nation, can achieve. Mr. A.L. Edu was a trailblazer, a man who walked with humility and yet left indelible footprints. His service to the nation is a reflection of his belief that diplomacy is not just a profession, but also a calling to bridge divides, foster understanding, and create lasting change. His work reminds us all of the power of service, and his life is an example for this and future generations of Ghanaians to emulate. Ladies and gentlemen, this lodge is a gateway to possibilities. It has been designed to accommodate Ghanaian and foreign diplomats alike, that can shape the future of Ghana and indeed of the world. With its 15 presidential suites, advanced meeting facilities, and cutting-edge translation services, it stands as a beacon of Ghana's commitment to fostering collaboration and addressing global challenges.
Thank you. Allistar.
Mugabe. Yao, Madam Tokornor, Wabetina say Simonize.
Be circumspect in your reporting.
Yes, that's it.
Do your checks and balance.
That's it.
Kasa with evidence.
Yeah,
evidence
that's it.
based. That is true journalism.
Say Amisha Dai last in Edu, Edu, whose name stands on the lodge, is a public servant to Ghana and a diplomat par excellence with humility and the kind of diplomacy that brought lasting change to our diplomatic terrain. That's Nanado describing Edu, and the lodge has 15 presidential suites, and a host of big rooms, what you call lounges, to host conferences for even hundreds of people. Yes, air conditioned, recently renovated place. Near Duwako baby, suitable say Asiedu slot. That's why I said that it is wrong for her to clutch onto that history and even to allegate that people planned in a Deuce Lodge to murder anybody. Does she have evidence? The Special Investigations Board under Azukrab, they reviewed all that they had. And I'm saying they sentenced people. America was sentenced in absentia. Tony Tekpo was sentenced in absentia. Johnny Jandu, Amate Kwe, and Michael Senya, all of them. And you see, what pains me is that sometimes I look at these people and the family of these people who were murdered. They must do something to prevent even the Ghana Bar Association or even that Supreme Court from using their names again. They drag too much 44 years. They be on back. Sorry, they mark you call it. Why not Jesus cano? You demand more bush for. Akwalada na onum for na. Ni mami ya didn't call ya. Ya abducting the car hono. Obi di sike BF sorry them or their caution mama. I want to ask Kobre Japan. Oh my you be a boy mu pen na. They should stop using the franchise.
Kobre Japan can.
People would they can't want some sir. Why
they hurting the family?
Cobra Japan crown to me by NDC. Now,
Mrs. Rodalen Imoro Ayana. Also, as I say, the suspended Chief Justice was did herself no favors by holding the press conference.
Dipana Abonidin Rodalen Imoro Ayana. Unimni Papa. Big politician in Ghana. Hey, Alaji Imoro Ayana. Ask a neighbor, yes. In the 79 elections. Very big financier of the PNP.
I feel very pained that a woman that she is, that we all in this country as women have always advocated for more women to be in government structures, more women to hold leadership positions. And then I'm asking, so at the end of the day, assuming that Gertrude Tokornor is kicked out, okay, assuming that the recommendation is that she's no longer Chief Justice, and she decides that she wants to take up maybe a position in another international organization, because we've had other people go and do other things after they've left their offices. Who would she be expecting to give her those recommendations? Because your country has to recommend you.
Indeed.
At least say something nice about you for other countries too. So if you go making it look like there's a political agenda, getting onto the government, would you expect the government to be able to give you that recommendation that you are a patriot of this country and that you are somebody that people can rely on and that you're loyal, you have integrity and all that? So she should be thinking of those things. And as much as she wants to get her bites, she should also know that there is a tomorrow. She's still a very young woman. She can hold all forms of positions, and she will need people to vouch for her sometimes in those situations. So
fantastic one. But yeah, my men were on maybe what I'm seeing this afternoon from the angels, the 900 million angels, Jane Mason will follow her, Bossman will join them, and Apiahino will join them. Yes.
Mugabe.
One to me, Odin Chineboto 1,000. You go to someone? No.
Mugabe, 146 na.
But
Mami Okasa Eon. Na dream do. When you so onyakwala. She's about 77, if I'm right. She's marrying 80. Yes. when you me senior bride is 72, into mommy will be 77 or thereabout. When you see me senior bride.
No, yeah, Papa, the last born. Right?
Yes, I think the last born or the last Oba or very rich man. You more Ayana. You mentioned the name in Ghana's
the Ayana family.
Yes, very big woman of the CPP slot. Mugabe, the woman, the Chief Justice, she must be submissive. She must learn to go through the process.
We didn't tell you.
Show remorse. Mugabe, you don't call on. Yet he said Munti Asemno. At any MP anchor press conference.
That's what I'm
saying. That yes, so they said we should keep quiet, submit ourselves to the process until the process was over and we're sentenced. What you say? I don't know the unye processing because in the middle of the sea, then you are contempt of process.
Private legal practitioner Martin Pebu.
Yeah, hey. A benefit Martin Pebu, professor of law. That's why I said the voices of reason.
Number one, her press conference exceeded the boundaries set in law, which is that when proceedings such as the Article 146 proceedings are pending, we are not allowed to comment on the merits, and leak and disclose what's going on. So it went way beyond the prescription of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, and also in Article 146 Clause 8, that the proceedings are held in camera. They are supposed to be secretive so that it will help protect the whole system, the judiciary, and also the person facing the trial, in this case, the Chief Justice. So we'll look for Article 146 Clause 8, we'll read it. But in the meantime, that's why I've paraphrased. Then also, there are a number of Supreme Court decisions where the same point was made, that we should observe the secrecy, right? So you have the Justice Paul Derry versus Anas Tiger PI, right? That's 2015-2016 Supreme Court of Ghana law reports. The Supreme Court held so that no, don't disclose such proceedings, and that if somebody did, like what Chief Justice has done, that person opens him or herself up to. So the Supreme Court says when things like this happen, the committee can report or refer these events to the High Court so that the High Court can deal with the contempt. Because, the committee is not a court, so they don't have powers of contempt. And even there are some courts which don't also even have powers of contempt, like the District Court and Circuit Court. When I say powers of contempt, I mean civil contempt. There's some type of contempt the court can, the District Court and the Circuit Court can deal with, but not every type. So the point is that what she's done, she's opened herself up. Of course, practically, because of the office she occupied, not many people may say the case should be taken to the High Court for contempt. Not at this moment. But you see, she would have eroded a lot of the respect. Okay, but I'm sure she did her calculations and saw that, look, she would want to erode some respect in order to bring to the fore things that should be done, reforms, etc., to make the system better. I'm sure that calculation, she's done it, and she's saying that she would rather go out, because he said he who is down fears no fall. Because already what has happened.
Yeah. We're too much. Allistar, are we lawyers?
But the law near the free fee, go see law.
But the air can
but we have common sense and logic, and we listen. So that's exactly what we have been talking about. Well, see, that's why there's a case of a contempt, but the High Court will have to. So she's contempt of the committee's proceedings. That's why the court, a High Court, no. Now, I will say we betray committee, there be almost venue near this, so the security is exposed. So you do know what you do. Do you know what you do to her first? Take her security from her. She has exposed the venue, and she has exposed. She's mentioned the name. Yes, she has mentioned the name of Daniel Fori, one of the witnesses, and mentioned the name of Gabriel Scott Panwine repeatedly. So you rather take her security away from her and let her feel the way she wants others to feel. Fantastic. And continue the case.
Let's listen to government spokesperson Honorable Felix Kwachi Ofosu. Almost response.
However, to correct certain misimpressions that were created at the briefing. To begin with, let me point out that as yet, nobody has been able to ascribe any known verifiable constitutional breach to the president in the way that he has handled this particular matter. From the very first steps in this matter, the president has kept fidelity to the Constitution and has respected the spirit and letter of the Constitution. Everything he has done has been by the book. That is why all those who have commented on the matter, including Her Ladyship the Chief Justice, have been unable to point to any specific provision under Article 146 that the president has been in breach of. Second, in terms of confidentiality, the president has acted strictly in accordance with the Constitution. At no point in time has the presidency put out anything in any way, shape, or form that remotely resembles any of the contents of the petition. And the only communication that has gone out on this matter have been about the steps that the president has taken in accordance with the 1992 Constitution, Article 146 to be precise. It's only intended to secure the place so that persons who are not authorized to be part of the proceedings do not come there and create any inconvenience. I believe that even if the hearings were held at the court premises, it will still be under significant security controls to ensure that only authorized persons have access to the place. So to describe Edu Lodge in the terms that Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, did was most unfair and unjustifiable. It seeks to obscure the process and bring in unrelated matters that seek to
an institution that is fit for purpose. The way it is existing now, it's not fit for purpose, because you cannot have, with all the laws that we have, you cannot still be having an election that will go into a stalemate. There is no anticipation of any stalemate in elections in any of our laws, unless people don't want to do their work well. And so it's a clear case of negligence or inability to perform its functions. So it's a good reason why the Electoral Commission needs to be reset. And that is not the only issue. Remember, 4 years ago, there was the issue of SAL. A whole constituency went unrepresented for 4 years. And then, so when this commission, as presently constituted, took over the reins of the Electoral Commission, they have never done an election that is satisfactory. These two major elections, the first one constituency went unrepresented for 4 years, and then their second election is this one. And then with the by-elections, Ayawaso West were gone. Everything has been removed. So there is overwhelming evidence that this commission is not fit for purpose. And if any serious country will want to maintain this type of electoral commission, then I don't know what the country is about.
So there will be a change at the EC leadership?
There has to be a change.
Fantastic. So, say, Mitras, I catch you say, Angels, and the Kama, Mesegana, Jane Mensa, Bossman, and Yapiaji, Ombako. My mamma, Pejafa, Listo. And I'll be able to I'm offended. You say,
I say, Abai Papa,
Abai Papa Bampa,
Abai Papa Bana.
Fantastic.
Your Mahaman to me, Mayam Penny Wabra, Sebi, Yahubetiti,
Debbie,
Nti, Yanko Pombe Gusway,
Yamedonima,
na one my town phone so any Guasi. Na senior is share museum for a fras and he share Mubium. Na an Imguasiano Facasiano, a Bequama, or more, no more pay and say,
that's why
I'm say a phone. Imagine a tune
when you made a free,
yes, tea.
And you have a Cotonium.
And a metronome,
dear Mary, Nawati ni sufre. Semi wo how ma metro nyum. Ese be na ya ma. Metro ayi nyum. Listen we to nyum.
Anyo de me
ne ka be asante.
Mesua to.
Monyera mo honto.
Say and also the music is the music. The music
is the law.
Yes, just as the law is the law. The music is the music.
Fantastic one. Aban. Bibi aboko de. Sia ya che. To be nyina yetashia wo baby de.
Yeah, after election, I think say shia.
I say ujina wana so.
Kakra day. Samisiao.
Hey.
Misiao.
It is well. It is well. You want to say?
Oh, I think that we are
more. What was the change biaba?
Oh, definitely. Ghana there, if you really want to be honest, I'm not sure say we bet me a doubt to say there has been change, not just ordinary change, but a significant change. Yes, so here the economic front is quite clear.
Fantastic.
And some institutional will be a cost. Clearly, nothing say we are only hoping say Nyama betimi sustain it, not trigger down to the ordinary person.
Iran and Israel for
yes.
And China and America for discussing as a sign.
I say wouldn't their way. So wouldn't their way. Now we focus. Some of these distractions in a bar. Ebe kan okra na entimin take away near my wire off the table.
Fantastic.
In the past you nuanom a umbesu Ukraine, Russia, I don't have to, even countries no more border Ukraine, Russia, but we're not even complaining.
Fantastic.
But I think I missed this particular tension between Israel and Ukraine. Fuel still drop it down. You understand? That clearly shows there are your friends saying safe hands in place are just trying to do things that benefiting Ghanaians. Early days yet, but I'm hopeful say the way man and near masses
but I'm up for it, so I reflect in the system.
Oh yes, because
various markets now.
So first now you talk cement, I think 135 and 140.
That's about 90.
Not about 90 yeah. Obviously no.
Iron was 9,600.
Exactly.
About 8,000.
Exactly. And then you know dollar
no.
Depreciating as for sa near when I Ghana for
no problem. Now corporate so ko yema bafo.
Kakra. And we are even expecting say come more because if 6 months in Ponia, I'm hopeful say 1 year, 1 way, yeah. So
inflation also drop.
So Mugabe, the now courageous say we know be time buying. We wanted policies and programs of government in ever benefit people or more minor.
But now would you say within 6 months and never bet him as
Oh no, because I think that Nema a contentem because I have studied currency said the Nema ACT about drop a crown such a significant drop.
So what is the secret?
I think that some
decisions
are taking. For instance, the last time I came about something like gold board, you say mopping up all the gold. Yes, now your friend is a revenue now, but because dollar no near na kofa a change na buy. Nti na say wutimi kotona forest in Bakroma, obviously the pressure on the dollar no so better. What I say na make can say. And again, about from no a car no mine no so significant dressing and drop it because our external debt was in dollars, you understand. So these are some of the things and once a new government takes over and the confidence return it back to the economics front, investors will come back with their money and a whole lot of stuff, hoping say the policies of the government benefit. Until John Mahama started and the first this economic dialogue forum our investors. So we are investors now were doubt about the state of the economy. That particular dialogue now, and will give you that particular hope. Enti udu sikabeba. I think that yes, I near man kakran na akikambo my net yejina babi yejina. We are just hoping say be stand to other places. Say ya ahochera over the years ya form no. So betina Ghana ni enya ahotoso say indeed the government is really working.
But I say Ivan Kyei live on TV as well as and also on Power 97.9 FM. Live Kid capsules. S natural mineral water. Adom Survey and General Construction. Power Specialist Herbal Hospital. Victory Garlic Mixture. Medimosis Clinic and Herbal Center. Safari Valley Eco Resort. Hebron Hills International School. Omada Urumane Techra. Yedi Jumedi Ebro. Listen, me say every ho na yenhwe sema General Mosquito National Chairman Ediatu Jafa Electoral Commission topics na no ano no ene a press conference and suspended Chief Justice a o mabium a Tokornor or that useless press conference no the buy no no useless, a waste of our time
and years.
Yes, and years. Me 4 minutes when I'm jay was nonsense. I mean, the law
is the law.
Fantastic.
And is the law.
Let's get to serious business. More fire.
Koyo mame fa kunya we so na me nchiatifo ne adofo ne atamfo a omagibre ehwe yen ena wie anwumre na memo abaso ne adwumaso awoye. As usual, Minia Ivan there. I mean, he has always caught my eye, and I believe that with time, no, very intelligent.
What to Quabranca there?
Yeah, Mate Quabranca.
Commander, what in
Bobiansa, Martinenka, or no, so the law is the law.
Quabranca is the law.
Also, the law is the law.
I say the weekend or very Adanko.
I Adanko there. Say, Quabrano, Adanko now winting and I saw the no. Say, Adanko, my sword.
Adanko,
my sword.
The law
is the law. Quabrano say the law is the law when the law is the law.
Thank you.
Enti kwabra de ne de watwum kakra
kajagum yama inkunkum
enti Mugabe we de say mame fa konya we so na mema omampani ene na pamfo nyina moni ha se ne adwumayefo be ya no mo ye no se osompa de wo de ma wo manfo a say enya de a mo manfo no omo emmo empaye ma obi enu okos e friend say obi enu okonsu ogu ne tamfo ankrem na obia soso ni wa okonshira oshira ni busuefo.
Very true.
Nti me bom abaso ni adwumaso moye na mitie owura Asiedu Nketia asem no na asem a ye mu bi no ya na ye hye ni abotre isan se ye ni soja sem no ya na eduru ba bia na edidi yeti ohunti no ya na ye pedibia jasu na de tie de se emperifo so se emframa de huhu pade a onya na obeka ya oma mperi kofo de o ewe a ebe no oka no ma na yesere se ensuonyunu ene fa ni panya nsuhye nti wo hwɛ John ni sune ne ban a enye huhu ena ode ye bibia na odafom di boko ensusu no baby we ase no na he has delivered, and it's not about any vindictiveness or whatever. I mean, he is just abiding by the dictates of the constitution and the law. Intino me fa sem free baby a ore Asiedu Nketia ede na sem ni betu dwana. Mugabe, every state institution, every citizen of Ghana, by law established, no, answerable to the people of Ghana. Enti se wo hwe omo background from there ora eni yeboa krama the commission no anya accountable to the people of this country no krampona from that background on kwano I will see etimi gina so ne ka said enkofo omo answerable to the people of this country no cannot be in the helm of affairs. Look, we have square pegs in round holes. Square pegs in round hole no actually say nipa oni madwuma en yama na dwuma oye isan say obi eti abonten na wa ye your friend is saying aboduaba wa ye omo aboduaba en onu twetwetwe ahoma they said the koliko ohwe kwadwantwunum bi ana Tom and Jerry aware no unse koliko bi ana omo de na gina ho aso omo twetwetwe na obububu ne pa no sa na Akufo Addo de aye jemensa asare boss man ni sami tete ne srebo no srebo kwaku no ne omo Electoral Commission apia hene no se wo hwe ya democracy the fare by na eni kwan se sankofo we mu omo wo ho enti musume twanitia e wo ho na matoa so eye anti araba de ne so
e kama Ivan enko
nti emremu no
yisi ho kakra
say yes ye pay Electoral Commission say ne da bia meka no every word has a meaning. As we speak no we don't have an Electoral Commission. we have something that looks like Electoral Commission. And we see, and to the extent say, Oma Sal, Etna in Fiena, Omuni MP. Dear no intimate.
But the woman is very wicked.
Mesre,
very wicked.
I was here first. A quite beer was here first. Now, Omwa no person destroy a democracy. You be two of my saying, ya chew my son, Raquemu. The BBA ye illegality no mean faso. And Remu, ya former, and cons a friend is saying, Ranem, Romina, and Ranem, na yen 2 of my saying. Na Kitase Shadow Pro, dream can Bia Akoso in the last 7 or so years or more ba in the hem of affairs in Bia. No, you now you're making sure say, or my Missy Bia Kwakudu or Monsem, Yen Sabeka. So here they were Nikuni Hotel, no speed no DC hotel now. And who be here say about him because Charles Mensa the last time I'm check here on Yajuma.
Listen, my quick one on a some national chairman Johnson Asiedu Nketia to nothing. You move straight to a year and press conference, a course to suspending Chief Justice.
Okay, Mugabe, I think so. I'm what you for Thursday class. Now, Menka said, so evening class.
Where Thursday evening class.
Yes. So your friend is saying the Electoral Commission ne Jumadio Modi in the past. The scars are quite clear, are visible, Ghana can never forget. But here, Nema at play in this country presently now, it looks as if say the focus is not on it. But no indemnify the Electoral Commission from the criminal engagement in the lack of trust Ghana for the institution. My catch was you will Krobi and Kayetimi put 2 decent men with proper conviction in place. Situation like this, you will not wait. Say obi a petition and now say we and ka Jane boss manasare yesi yefra kwabi tete why and ka yeto abani we ya and come turning in or more resignation and come nyina call because the period now on the tenant so as Electoral Commissioners all that they did they destroyed the reputation of the institution called the Electoral Commission. Ordinary Ghanaian any trust, confidence, any hope be our institution, and I think that the track record are quite obvious. But it's unfortunate say Nipana very often we put them in leadership position, in sensitive position like this, most of them lack integrity, they lack candor, and they think that they are service because somebody put them there. So the whole agenda they say we are servicing the person or the bar and I say all the position and singing hallelujah choruses. All that they do they say a bit me guarantee that particular way. Because Jermaine San Nema why you kruma anya Ghana for na say be near be and I say be tia manual semasia. I'm telling you Zenka before 2024 elections in Kejato kruma saying. Because there were a series of senseless decisions upon senseless decisions that these people were taking. I threaten the foundations of our democracy. In the sub-region, there are countries that the scars of electoral misunderstanding are quite clear. Obeko Sudan, Obeko Hwai, Nayate, Rabo Hwai, because of electoral misunderstanding or more, they couldn't handle it. But fortunately, we were able to handle. Electoral Commission at some point in time became so belligerent to the stand that actors and stakeholders in the elections, they were not ready to listen to anybody. They were running the institutions at the behest of their personal twisted whether emotions or whatever that they wanted to do. So at the end of the day, they lost touch with the actors and they had to go into this particular election. And election year, we sat down in this country and san ever call election now a constituency Atena Kroma for almost 4 good years with data representation. That was a criminal an engagement. As an expect say and something could have been done to salvage the situation because constitution guarantee everybody in this country to have a representation in parliament at any point in time. Mugabe, this woman said that Sunday, the Monday I to Abano, and issue statement a significant part of voter region from that particular way, and she denied them the representation. Yet to Abani, now we were hoping Senka sorting a mitigatory effort will be advanced to ensure that the situation. She never, because Onimisa Koto Abana, NDC was going to win and they will have upper hand in parliament. This woman sat down and we couldn't do anything about it. And I didn't know one the call. You go into nano elections in Ebina Yablukumasema walking. Almost a pink seat or a pink seat, you know. Me command and me papa no command. So if the Electoral Commission cannot assess pink sheet, it means that you are incompetent. You don't qualify to be there. Exactly, and the person who appointed that particular person is also incompetent. And now Yantia, America. So we follow Trump, the attempted assassination on his life, you know. They pin it on the Secret Service. Mama now had the head of Secret Service and she was nowhere near the place, but she was sacked. Why? Because the ultimate way, you know, is stop with her. So the head of the Secret Service in America, because of Trump's attempted assassination, you know, was booted out. You understand? So that is how people take ultimate responsibility. These jokers have been sitting in office, masquerading, walking around upon all the embarrassment that they brought into this country. They still call themselves commissioners in this country. I think that is quite pathetic. And Jemensa, I'm telling her, or no petition, a good bag, ma, I'm telling you, because no quite any day easy chain your friends easy because criminal activities on my no kroma boss man and some of being and waka certain post in name of my no kroma no it will be very easy but I think say and kayanko the UK way Prime Minister na hena name nkoya no say resign na no yantiana Canada Prime Minister resign here. But so why can't they do the same thing? Honestly, you resign and go, you understand? But you say but these jokers will hang on to power until we sack them. And for me, I am concerned about the integrity of the judiciary. And the law. It's the law.
Let me see why. Now for you, Tokornor. My members, like I said, from my safari valley eco resort to Madame Macamote, actually, and I did many about wildlife experience or more number one for nature as you doing in the eastern region, Okre constituency. We do when you papa. Now, as you know, environment is very, very conducive. Almost several local and continental dishes, swimming pool, gym, hotel. One say yes. Environment where you come up, papa. Connect you any family, no, from 0596914394, 0596914394 for Safari Valley Eco Resort, or more Abejo. So, Mary Moses Clinic and Eba Center, or Mone de Medical Capsules, the Abejaso, Pibina Bua Sedebia Mojano, a bit Medini Pedrian of Sunny year, blood circulation, Sanson, a Boises, a Nipano, a Bustu immune system, no, a Manipediani Jan and Naso Brani. We are Bema prostate or sexual weakness, Bema the person who ye dear, ye befro a ye Nana Poku. If you're Nana Poku, the answers on Huadi, you're from Mugabe and answers on Huadi, you're from Ivan, answers on Huadi, and one says sexual weakness and found feature, male and female infertility, hypertension, diabetes, sciatica, typhoid fever, malaria, stroke, any dental problems in ano. Fanina Kocaine Medimosis Clinic and Eba Center. A dental barrier near war, any police station in the Judiciary anymore, or AESL building inside the Ghana Highway Authority yard or Crab Ministries. A J. Kojo, any school for the deaf in the Judiciary anymore, Comasi, I am a Kokobensi, free and was 0244 06844 0244 06844 or fry a bejoso. Victory garlic mesa from Dr. Mwako, Ote Dr. Nkan, and Ewe, when you be now, boy, papa, obi won to mini di wonuma to brony because a loss of appetite. Pe Victory ni bine bobo, nintime emo aboama moje timidi ni pedrian mo frusani ye, obi ho na nteka krabia no abrenu ote so wase anansi acheme, when Victory ni bia ebesese kama, oba ko mfichira no ayase ball dwedwe, menstrual pains, when Victory ni bino noma ebeboa mani nyina eto etwa, obi won to mini di wonuma to pebina nom ebetumi abo wonya 12 years and above, obetumi annom Victory garlic mesa ni bi wono yo pemfo amennom, o ma bofra nufusu nso amennom, nemom uyo bia all sansoa, didiye ansan wanom, ura pharmacy shop, herbal shop bia obenya biato, for Dr. Mwako 0201293280, 0201293280, or 0242545633, 0242545633, or Fire Bejoso, Power Specialist Eba Hospital. hepatitis A, B, C, D, and I yini benete where fatty liver, sciatica, prostate na how many a bema, no penny baby na teach my ulcer, and a components minimum, a fibroid, Nina for nature power specialist about hospital, Yamami Aduya, Obebuau, Kumasi, Ofeya, Silik, Boson Chokwantempo, and so, yeah, war a putuja, Quanasua, Quantanasi Quanaso. You just go filling station, it didn't share anymore. The Ankahansu, you walk Benya, Pokwasi, Sebe Quantempo, so Takradi Wanaji, Estate Beanaji, MA Primary School. No, Fema me do yana and Chuchon Kumai on 0244544422, 0244544422. Adon survey and general construction. So pass Asiato. Ewo dudua opa sasiato ewa denta ene patemu mefani nyina akwadan adom survey and general construction omona be mo asase amanso bie ni so ato hwe o machira kwan ewo dudua odumase omo ben Christian High School International adenta so be hu omo ewo ho no mo office no ewo dudua odumase behind Christian High School International na di omo yeni eba land surveying, engineering surveying, architectural designs, general construction omo ye number 1, they are second to none. Furniture maso no mutumi wow. No much they say o pasase o do wa picking crying 70 by 100 plot no 50,000 Ghana cedis. En can is kind of 500 million. No much at the amount. Ne mo pese utiano within 6 months ya 55,000 en can is kind of 550 million. Ne achichem no twitwa ne kakra 6 months wa jon krata wa hase eswudan. O pese utiano within 1 year and we said be more 60,000. Go twitwa ne kakra wunya we Biao and once I want Adom survey and general construction for Bechuchunkomo. Call them on 055-439-7831, 055-439-7831 or 020-378-8842, 020-378-8842. WhatsApp number is 055-439-7831, 055-439-7831. Offer Oma Omo Ebejoso Adom survey and general construction, making your dreams come to reality. Esa twa menra water nso ni bebraba brahane beji bi to na konnom se de bibia betumi akonkan de ma oda begu abebre mu betum franko ho Mr. Robert 0596273546 oba won sabe kan duru bi a wope bia lift kit capsules e de abedwa so from Medimosis clinic na so ye one de lift kit capsules no e de abedwa so e boa ma digestion timi take place kama enhance eye metabolism and sign boa obi a wo konfikyira a wo bre san watumi ayi wonan ni nyina no agana bia no ebetimi ya metimi akoso kama sisi yefunu ma bibia ko esanboa supporto eye wo liver no function no na bibia nso timi koso pharmacy shop herbal shop bibia be wura bia obenya biato 0244068447 0244068447 Hebron Hills International School say excel and shine for nature media of the Nsawam Road omoba media Presbyterian eye church no na odo say excel and shine no oba no wanya 3 months kwesi 5 years Montessori Nketia ne de mano sanso na eja obano opese de ko lower primary upper primary akwenya ewo ho admission go so ekoso nemum the month of September no more start new academic year no more start GHS admission tutu mirika no kope kwenya ma obane ene sansa kwenya no wan kwentema enya de obenya space e de ama obano jume kwenya na da ru matachiri ne jume de ebe oba bia yeduru no abonnunum apa ho sema aduanan aduonu enan dia kan nyina Tokornor time Listowel Nana Poku
yo ayo
bonija mame na bonija nso a bonete said ye kusie ya wasi ehini anaso
an institution that is fit for purpose.
Ode ba bonten se ode koye press conference no or impersonate yese or ye chief justice wabra boni FBB adjective a chere senior bibitie otiase enti se o chere brofokasa yese adjectives qualify nouns obian ka se chief justice no sebi onye ebida na oye chief justice kopim se ye bo ne sanye se oko Church of Pentecost na okoye eniamon ho a asoro no bo sen ye nka se wonye member biem Nemum udibia ekura wo a ema wo ye member no. Ye bo sen a ye bo dibia ne so sen. Kopim se ye be hwe wo nsemu ana se adwobre beba ana ebindie beba. Enti so wo hwe ne statement na ne flyer na wo de beto abonten no a eche se maame no oye obi a oye niamon omu de emra no esie because wo de fani se udi bem wo de fani sa se wo adwunu mu no because wo adwunu mu no de obi ani wono mu a odi asem wono ani tirimu a odi fo this nipa kakra bi a omo ankasa wo mahunim ne ye eno mutimi ka se oh ade we de mehu se ma anye ne yie sa nipa no mo no so wiase etu de fani se wo to konukura wa adwunu mu no udi bem ena ya tu asen kopim se tu na ya tu asen no aban ebe famra kwan so reinstate you perish my thoughts anyway perish my thoughts kopim se aban ebe ka se oh tu ami tu say no matwe asan no you cannot hold the title Chief Justice. We are suspended until further notice. Eti me who the flyer na the number bontin Chief Justice speaks. Chief Justice addresses the nation. I think quite the person here to say state of the nation. Eti me enu ano me who flyer no and I be throw to me Facebook say rather no I was so or say suspended Chief Justice speaks. And yet and go be any niasem. Enti anu kwampo no say you say you dey from ra kwan so a wa impersonate the office and the position of a Chief Justice. Eno no Emma ni dedi pefe say onye nipa sebi obumra famra nya neka obumra enye sebi nipa sebio jinjan bi no less a person say o mampani mu a ena odi ne sahye krata se kache wo say kofie na ye hwehwe wo nsemu asa lekin krata na se ebubo wa ya de huntansa asoa o lekin krata na enti sas de na o ye no the first offense a odi betu bedwam impersonation a criminal act and even for a very lawless chief suspended Chief Justice. I may imagine no or outgoing to have misbehaved like this no. I was say enokra no omunya enyina so na omde twena so eno ye one. 2 Mugabe na sometimes yes so sebi enipa binum so wo man mu ema omo adwene mu no omo ye te se de omo no esoten oman ne mra untouchable for entino sa wo hwe a efri mampani akufo do apen so eba no na nipa binum adwene ye omo se enye rule of law biem na a rule of man na rule of man bia no ema nipa na adwene ye ne se okura tumi bi sa tumi no esoten tumi na ebia emra no de ama no ana se de omanfo ekura Mugabe ye 1992 constitution no ade a mehu ye ne se omo ye the framers of the constitution no omo kuchira ade bi a ye friend the preamble of the constitution enti so wo hwe preamble of the constitution na o kire se power no tumi na eye omanfo eye tumi no o say de bia wo oman na bra bomu no ekura omanfo yanka se ekura obi enti omanpani kura pa sebi odi ye so ane sebi obetimi akasa Ghana nyina no kafi obi ankoda nsia no onu mpokura mpo no ye say ansa no obetimi ateki sa tumi no ana se obetimi aye bibi no agese wakomra sebedwam etu hwe ya time COVID-19 ba ye no ekufo do ye say wo de wo pe ebekwa ko gina baabi wo ka se wo se no smas kana se ebekwa ko preach ma ne chechi asofo bi kwa kugu wo kai woni se ekọ emra ni mu a emra ni be kire se o mampani ni sa tumi no ɛno nti na mampanin kurampo no ɔwɔ member of parliament yia ɛnɛ me ne wo kasa owura John Mahama ɔwɔ mmarahyɛ badwani a ɔyɛ ɔno John Mahama his excellency ni nsi anan mu wɔ mmarahyɛ badwam enti president mpo kurampo no ɔno na ɔwɔ tumi a sɛbi ɔmanfoɔ kora de ato aba ama no ɔno ntimi nyina badwam ɛnka sɛ me mampanin no mesi sei obi ankɔda by force ɔntimi gye sɛ wɔde afa mmara kwan so na wohwɛ maame Tokornor ni su ne ban a no wonder say ne papa ne Agya Kofi Abraham no wonder on tetiba nani atra nani ton
muade
so we share from the behavior time no chief justice no na ye bo owura Muhammad din say on sorry mekasa na we hear the ewu a osobre na no esikiri nani fi nani pochiri nani bi ede hwe owura Muhammad ni nyam ni a se bia bi ni fie wo hwe sa behavior no misbehavior na on sem fata we bi a se bi owo su ne ban a ye didi chief justice no Mugabe obi bu say ede na no see and was there a need for it? The question is, Mugabe, to what end? Press conference here no obey ye. When you tina me catch say NPP lawyer bienwa onimumra.
Judge.
They only know the judge. And tina say NPP for so musu Tokornor be free oye ni e betie nyina yakogu.
Minority for mo to tia.
Maami wey on fa mra nya adwuma. Na senko obi a ode mra ya adwuma Mugabe. Emra no constitution na kan yo. Enye sebi any other law a yebetimi aka so o we de emrakunni ni kura etia se obusa lawyer bia wo Ghana ha ye say process ni kura mpo a ye de eyi chief justice adi no enya de a e wo say emu bia no ebebeda badwam enti petitioners me ensa ni nyina omo chiro petitions no normally like I normally do. And come back to me leaky petition na ma public no. But o man leaky petition na ma e ko du man pani ho o man pani leaky petition no e ma o de command council of state o man leaky petition no ko pem say maame Tokornor na ono krampo no asem fa ne ho no. O tro command man pani say o man pani entimi ma say wo se ya de petition bi aba a e fa me ho wa bra me na se bi asem e fa me ho no o ma me copy no man penin so no na waye na adwe wasi na adwene mu pi se me fa mraw na etire bi ekoliki a wa be ka se me mom kra na maliki no kopem se o man penin de petitions no e bi ma maame Tokornor no Mugabe ni e betra studio ha ni e sufre copies of the petition me boa me kwa na me ni se emramu no eni kwan se omu e de petition ni betu badwam ama mi be ka no studio ha say ye be say so mo me hu copies no me enkenkan ama ora fari so fosu kwa achi be gina public ka kire ye nyina ye say enya dia wo betimi dia ma public no because emra kunni ne say e wo say eye shaded in secrecy kopim say maame no beko me boa ye di petition ni copy ni maame no ade atia na be before a press conference oh we are saying me na wom ada no odi ni kura to kwan and I did na fa no marking da baby
samfun
no mu ke kan sem hunu a Mugabe
ya ka fon kan
e ho na me catch Ghana for say me catch them say ma me wey onye chief justice bia or chief injustice oye wo bia oye NPP for women organizer ye na court na adwuma bia oye bia ye NPP adwuma nya o man adwuma
enam ne ye enti
ne ye ni su ne ban enti because kopem se John Mahama no de petition ni copy se mama me no na ni abonten John Mahama mo de copy se ma no na MPP fa copy no e no de be gina public e no mo de ye press conference me boa mo nka se me boa enti se wo hwe sa anioma o ye na wo hwe de no a o da na di na o ye up to something
you know the way na contempt na
e contemptuous just that the committee doesn't have any power to draw her before the committee to punish her for that offense, even though Entino me hwe me say committee no omo mfa no te se de sebi abrewa we inframa bone wo ne nana no manyi na omo nya omo adwuma esan se adwuma na omo ye de ama omo no na ye omo adwuma de Tokornor ya ne de te se de sebi aboa tafre bi nam osunu bi ataaso resign ne de resign na Akufo do cry apam no baby ejina sese baby Akufo do cry apam emra no de na ka baby ejina sese obetima resign na be retire baby ejina no cry no or resign cry enye yie na bedi na asem se ne se fata ena sebi se utie press conference na oye na Mugabe na medwin se oba be gina mra bi so aka se o mampania from mra bi ana se bi a council of state for from mra bi ana committee ni members no kran pro ma from mra bi motata no and someone what can who be brother sam say bia bababo bi anim na say bi anim kan say bi nti a wo say na ebi mu kro mo phone Tokornor na we afi say wo grandpa we chief justice no na wo ka che say ye ba quarter me na me civilian no say me wo dreadlocks grandpa e wo say me kata so by force e wo say me so suit wo na ato atare ma me we nu nyamu da ye wo Ghana ha na wo na be che de ye nye asomafo say o phone adaya ya threaten me obi a wo what me a lawyer o papa e kwai of so a oye ya pam free kofodia se tech crampo no cram nka ho asem ne another day we nti o papa ya pam no si ya so akofa ne ma bi ama e ho sansam de o so nka no na de o se they can't say e kwai papa no fa so a o twa school fees Tokornor na what ma say yanka ho asem na wo ba be ka che say ya threaten to wo ko school no nim say ya threaten wa wo ba bi e wo so de wa asem ko na wo be ka threat wo Ghana ha. Do you know how you have used the weaponized court now to threaten the lives of many? Do you know how you have made Ghanaians under your torture? No? Do you know how you have made us feel? What saying send you be threatening lives? Do you know how you are threatening our lives as a judge? When you are sitting in the comfort of your court, dictating the pace of all the to the sense that maybe Mugabe. Now we are Ghanaian. Ya kase kokota na akwese ya bold ya okay etino sanyoma na obegina bedwom kikane nyoma no wode mesi no wode medusie no wode ye ede adane nsem nkwanta obi anu oye owo sympathy bia matokonu onko me no hu eya na ensemi bi wo ha amramu no ntino ntimi nka ne ye eni se we no nka committee bia hu hia e wo se nkomu woni nkunsa no mo woni nkonsa na baabi obekwa akoto no so no prapra ne hu wie na wati kokoni wa no hu fia na ko odi asu nyansa ya te Ghana ha hwede na afa no market ne woye ena awia kete odi asema be down 2 o'clock wa ye panel 3 o'clock na judgment aba me the LGBT asema be to anim asema na aka fa ho ya jiji yi na fi Ghana ha minority caucus led by Ohubetonum wo mo fa asema nkodan court omu di asem no edru MPP for asem so bia ene ohu hare etimi de mesere se sebi committee ni nkoso anya na adwuma okay Ghana for yeso ya dwen kire be koso a kire obi ani wonu ma sebi obehu Tokornor mobo wa hu ye mobo wa bra na ehia no wa hu ye mobo time ani tu asem aba wan ka bia moayen osori na ko dira puppet anim no as we preach no sankofu we mu nyina so be Christopher nti na nse na ja asori ko no eti mesre obia ntia na adwen fa ho se Tokornor no na adwen ya ne se law ne nya law bi na fa emotions a onkoso no emotional drama ye be koso ahwe me kwa no na me data asa me koto obi ehwe ni nyina me hu concert party ano oye onkoso ano onye concert no committee ni nya na adwuma opa ma ni si committee na nim committee no be tro se wa ama absenteeism and fire ho wan ko obia hu say how can you think say Ghana for betina ho I'm a wounded lioness like you as ababaji wadwa na wo baba chair de wo pe you have had a new chief justice is acting very well and say kopim say chief justice here wo hoyi obey na dwuma awie no Ghana for tanachi owura pafo bɔne ono yere monkɔ so ara mo mu adwuma ɛsɛm no dɔɔso na mo nso tia
ɛyɛ Ivan so sɛ ne sɛ mɛyɛ baako pɛ ɛyɛ asasɛm pɛti Ivan ebi sɛ maame na sesa mofa fo nyine nto so mame abra na ɔka the law is the law no ɛne ɛyɛ nradeɛ no production team wait my me favor na motumi aye nti we ye nradeɛ no we opposition ma hwɛ abra na ɔwɔ power kofado abra so nti ma hu the difference no mu de mum ye ntie tu no the law it ono kasa no smile but no am say nanim no it is okay yenya sa NPP but listen me no we are 2 minutes behind me. The law is the law.
No matter how many noises are made, the law is the law.
And no idea, no difference, no. Bono kakrama me why madam.
To lodge facility that the hearings are being conducted in.
CIA. Thank you. Without team. Muya jumani say no mani Ivan. Yanko.
The kind of mention with Dr. Mia Holy Family Hospital of your program.
Oh, touching my right.
Fantastic. Medical director. Okay. And Raminya Quenya press conference in a Kakrabat, Mantibia Shame, because I was very embarrassed and very ashamed looking at Neema na Air Koso. But Osha the Air Kosona, you could see a visibly shattered woman. Or you're broken. And clutching at straws, and some now all cannot be anywhere. Sabi ubetimi nyansa biya. Oh, and for her as a chief justice, I'm for well respect for her and as a for no, they were all acting on. I say a grown woman acting on children's wisdom.
Oh, Ivan.
Also be a wenyini, but wisdom now all pretty no. I am cry wisdom. Also am cry wisdom so there because nearman nana ogusa no ye no. I say why suppose you know. Ghana for Titina na basa Mugabe and what she did yesterday no Onua ankasa sealing the fate she's done and I am saying that she cannot continue to be chief justice maybe the reason why say ohe niama na maamene ye na enra na petition na the constitution says must be heard in camera and the actors in it no any right to bring it to public. The constitution says that the whole proceedings must be heard in camera. The chief justice of the republic of this country, and the administrative head of the judiciary, it is her job to safeguard the integrity of the judiciary. She's privy to this constitutional provision, but decided, say, a document that is supposed to be a private document and the constitution explicitly says, must be heard in camera. No. Or time petition by TV so enra eba bekeka munsam de kire Ghana for doing that your position as a chief justice become untenable asabra make no enti committee no proceedings na yekoso no se maame no di bem kura na se osan ba we can drag her to court for this massive constitutional breach for her to be removed because adia oya na make say because she's emotionally your friend saying driven and she's acting on children's wisdom, no. Onyo who said what she did yesterday, Onua ankasa signed the fate. The last nail to the coffin, or the bomenra. Because what she did yesterday, was a flagrant abuse of the constitutional provision. That this thing must be heard in a way. And again, Mugabe. And some now man na okikano, you could see conspiracy theories because nothing she said that grounded in law because law no you ever say we nim nyansa apa kofa legon regu yam still we nim nyansa say we nim nyansa apa legon dynasty or pa kofa no fa tweti anopa we e ma wu nyansa because in some now all kano the poverty of intellect logic any reason na you begin to ask yourself mami when na no chief justice because in some now can be hot for instance or say Edu's lodge modern corner intimidating who cares about your personal emotions who cares about your personal emotions you don't call your friends Edu's lodge you are talking about somebody you are being accused and the constitutional process has been set in motion, you don't determine where that particular proceeding should happen.
Whether be
a state, and they choose you. And at the end of the day, where they choose, has nothing to do with now. Edus lodging our mobile will be to her. Judges, what kind of nonsense is this? But because she's arrogant, she doesn't see say Nemana or good anymore. What's it?
Arrogant.
Oh, very arrogant, very despicable, filthy, arrogant character. And I fancy you because and yes, sir, and can no how can you do this? Because again, process now air cost, it's emotion. You are part of the process. You've not disconnected yourself from the process. Young judges now no she's casting some kind of a spin on the judges, especially Justice Ponamine, because the reason is Daniel Ford no de asema ba
Supreme Court ansana mamebe wo.
Wodati
2016 no otesu.
Ponamine na ote a case no so no adi asem ama Daniel Ford pen ama Daniel Ford adibem. Justice Asiedu Nana issue no mo de court no wadibi enti no enu enti no omonye ya fa ne say omba bias. But this is a Chief Justice, the administrative head of the Judiciary. We make sure that people will be integrity-driven individual. Honesty and candor will be on their part. Now, you as a Chief Justice cannot guarantee the honesty and the integrity of the people you are working with. And you want the ordinary Ghanaian to guarantee that particular thing. And I make us and some now so what's now rationally, if you want to put it on the table and analyze that, you could see clearly say and she rather exposing herself. And again, one accusation and say Shining Star no crano or court registrar we are there is nowhere in the constitution that says say group at the petition president that they should be a registered group. There is nowhere in the constitution that says a mutual petition president even within crime fanshim. But it is only fair say you breach the principles of natural justice in anonymity. No, I'm saying there is nowhere in the constitution that says true petition president you remove go and read the constitution. It is nowhere say even your name should be there. But in implementing it, we are human beings. You cannot accuse somebody without knowing your accusers, and it's the reason why I am making sure say okay be known. Say be able to verify. That is why I want whistleblowers and sometimes proceedings to me because but we're able to deal with the issue to the logical conclusion. I'm not a lawyer, but look at this coherent analysis that I'm making. But this is a Chief Justice, and she's making all this nonsense of allegation, just trying to build up conspiracy theories. Sabia Ghana for me say she's being hounded. Adia Oyen and Ranina was a smear campaign directing at John Mahama, just trying to shop public attention. Sabia man for me say, yeah, be beatia. But near my why at the home.
Yeah, Tim.
Oh, me say
dead on arrival.
She's just a small piece of the bigger judicial puzzle now. Yeah, try to solve no. Oh no, she's insignificant. Yes, she's insignificant. She's just a small piece of the larger puzzle. And because the average Ghanaian now who call for sympathy, is concerned about the integrity of our judiciary. And for me, where I sit as a Ghanaian, in recent time, when I look at the Supreme Court, rulings every Supreme Court, a market woman at Makola can look at it and say, there is no sense in the ruling. For instance, how can you tell me it's a birth certificate and yet your friend is saying primary document, but travel document are a passport. If you are not traveling, you don't need a passport. Travel document in a private passport. How can you be sensible as a judge and make this particular ruling? These are things that amount for lose trust and confidence in the judiciary. And again, Mama Nankasani doing. And she's talking about your friends integrity. Yantiana Akufo-Addo appointee obi a oye field parliamentary candidate of the NPP in the person of George Jau. E man betena panel so. Issue no buy go, issue no buy no. Your friend is saying, sorry, always concern about Chief Justice Kocaine say proceeding na e cost no any political issue. I'm asking her say proceeding na e cost no. Is it a political issue? Because Daniel Ford is not a politician. Police in India or this should look like a politician. Shining Star and a politician. So what is a problem? And again,
when you be defending it to say a former attorney general, NPP for any idea.
Oh, then I said I don't know that Mugabe. Mamin San can send back control. One of the some no me no one. And some no kind of see Shining Star no. person come megina ayefa nsan omo metoto omo ano omo se anyada sa omo beba o kai say we no kai say like she want to put them and ask them questions, you know. They are not ready. Court anya by force. Now I would have 2020 elections na I call you. Chachu Chikata wanted your first J. to come and testify. Mo ka kire say mo man no kwan man megina box enyanto na Tokornor kan hu bi na ene obi a shining star no so me or ma testify because you can just write affidavit in support of your friend's initial petition and the court will sit on it. That is what I'm telling you, sir. You see, if or you be a sense of shame, because you will not be putting that package of nonsense that she put out there yesterday.
Press conference.
It's just she was just manufacturing nonsense and attempting to sell same to Ghanaians, but we are not ready to buy it. And again, I say president establishing the premier facia, no president Ed, and I'm asking her and challenging her as a Supreme Court judge, say. Constitution article being a president breach here because Mugabe yati the constitution is very vague in its interpretation dealing with some of these. It says the president will receive a petition and forward same to Council of State to establish merit credence and make sure the threshold within which something can be identified as a petition or qualified. Yeah. President J and all forwarded the same to Council of State. Mamen can say yati there is no single constitutional procedure be a certain emotional regularizing how premier facie should be established. All that we know is the president receive a petition for it to Council of State. That has always been the process. Yet there are any problem so now president I the same process. You have the gut to come to the public space and say you are being handed for the and nobody even wanted to resign at this point. We want to get to the bottom of this particular matter. And again, also President Asane a warrant of way on Tiasia. You see, this woman is a joke. Mugabe tie, my time tie. So, constitution, you know, it's quite clear. We don't need to go to law school and say what I say. Constitution is say. So, Council of State established the premier facie, which means credence has been established. And the next line, I say, and set up a committee. So, President set a committee. Then there is a constitutional discretionary injunction on the president to exercise either to suspend the woman or let her stay. That power is solely rested with the president. Nobody can exercise that power apart from the president. So, this is the power that president has exercised. Then the Chief Justice goes on public and says, what? I think she should give us a break. And again, last one. Or say, I'm on for a threatening is on resigning. Now, will be a Chief Justice will be threatening press conference. Why don't you go to the police? Fantastic. So you see, I think that what she did was an attention shopping stunt. Something or try to blackmail the president. But trust me, John Mahama a mistake now of falling for some of these things. Now, BBB now or institute woman where pressure no so I think is bigger than the one who pay because Ghanaians are more pay say yen sanitize your judiciary. You don't so change or no more fighting for.
Yes, it's not history no. Former Chief Justice say on tin ya mabiase. Na otro ya no. Okoka say Pamai enyu bia ojinidi na according to Araba Justice Pamai nini ye case bi onu vote against Pamai no mo efi ho no mo na obeye target entino wa mama tiase se 11-0 9-0 7-0 5-0 no na ewoni nti omo ye ni sa san se ye try ya dre na obi ko different nipa no become a target of the bench enunti na on penise Pamai enter on no case so ana woni santum but you have say ono Araba ya o empanel Pamai October case na Tadio sorry ejina speaker na mu di call Supreme Court no and afenyo mark ni mu di call ya no o panel no na Justice Pamai ka ho and the Pamai ya that bad na osawo jidie wonu mu si or select judges 5 judges o mo be transfer so a odi ni ka ho na atasa na to maame no na ese aboa bi bewu a opre we dey we because me who chief justice our press conference that so when who be aka kire me I say we should be good for the next NPP national women organizer we what brofo na no ati onum bedwam kasa tie ne nra obeye better sin how akumsin and any abriso so be women organizer no onko hono Nicholas wa raising some bebre wa bisa questions bebre o sha asem se ba bia ye di na asem no ba bia ye di na asem no onti asese ye di na asem wo honom Nicholas afina Matthias say you can be a judge but will not understand the law because over article 146 clause 3 now or one state ba bia committee na so transit no your hearing what does it it is not stated in the constitution by bia so committee no a hearing into the hearing no either the committee and not the appointing authority president that what committee you know on a bit my mom munni hanamonto na momvanye modwuma anase committee na nkasa be decide say ha no mo person motra eyo modwuma. How has that become a case? Audina so na yesi case ni bia no ye di no judicial service dan mu na we do mo akokodi no we bi. We yasem. We emrabe na we tia. Emrabe na it is not against any law. Nicholas. Or see your friend yes you almost search no. Wow. Almost screening no. Now hotels do be quite hotel more yen screening.
Yes, screening, yes.
A protocol, a venue no protocol no. Venue mo choose ma no. Enya old castle. Old castle is security zone. Me wa
sanity.
And you know ko hon ma irrespective of whoever you are, your best screening. Mama arabanjin to say, she's the suspended chief justice.
I suspended.
Otherwise known as former chief justice.
Former de suspended into incasso former de ejao kan
Nicholas
call when him
yentwa better na
call when him
obeba biu o mabiu me say o mabiu
call when him
we what we don't need the susia to tell the one mabiu oko azu twa aboatia which are no be prisa elbia no yer o you obeda I say and former chief justice mo friend suspended and onye chief justice biu enti that cases that previously uncle benyano and ne bi ni ne hu biu. She works as an ordinary Ghanaian pending the determination of this hearing. Very soon the outcome will be public, you know. Until on to mean claim it or hold on to Sir Glory now or basking as chief justice. No, she cannot be allowed to walk around as if say chief or your former chief justice and now suspended chief justice, depending on how you see it. Do you get it? Until young fair no cotton change in any case. I see you arrested a husband. Any Nabusian for from attending the hearing. Nicholas, this woman is supposed to be our former chief justice. What I say? She's supposed to be our former chief justice. Offer article now, clearly article 146(8). No, clear. The hearing of this proceedings shall be in camera. You can't in camera. Na tintini ni titi and say private. And the decision to admit your husband and now busiano is subject to the committee. The committee the beti me akaso enya hwe bra ukunu beti me diwo chano beti me mo bia diwo ti sentisa only you and the petitioners pe ena mo beti me aba ho no. That is what the law says. There's nothing other than this in the law. You don't need a law degree to be able to read this and understand. It's as simple as ABC. So I say, of course, I go cancel. Yesterday, Edu Lodge. Now, na evoke those things are tangential. Those things does not matter. Issue no, the narrow constitutional issue no say what violate Article 146 and is subject to Article 146 proceedings. Who will answer be? Who will be raise it? And your next or yes or Timrana and you say a judicial review. Do you get it? And now obey filing for constitutional interpretation. What do I say? These two options in our war, sir, courting public sympathy via public press conferences, no, a violation of Article 146.8. Article 146.8 say all the proceedings, no, in camera. Me were from day one, and what decided say she will leak every information to the media. In the present, or leak to the media. Me wa. Orie ene wa kokon akoko orie no asambe hold the press conference telling Ghanaians say and seminar a what petition one odi abano we everything odi akokot. Everything our can on the press conference is a subject of court a year to ago. Uwe ya wasia babi shia Ghana for enyina can't and say A, B, C, D, now you will not resign. Who cares about you resigning? Say nye committee ne yesulu anka over this time we call. Can you wait? Because adukwe case train no. Who delay ye, who to train your name, you must go for you go be a do me my view. You see, my me way I display clearly. Say on T Emra. Prima facie no, Can you go last? And yet committee, it wasn't Prama's committee that determined the prima facie case. The prima facie was established by the Council of State. And no more. And determined because President in Saka petition, he referred the petition to the Council of State. And a Council of State for fair no more establishing prima facie case. Why are you asking Prama committees and amount? Prima facie? They did not. So you cannot really litigate the point of prima facie at the committee. It has been established already, and the committee is in full gear. The committee is working. Or send a lawyer, a cohort in her absence, and her lawyer was not admitted, or was not allowed. Common sense, and yet law practice. Say, me manya sem, who see me, it must take me to introduce my lawyer to the court. And yes, sir. So you must court no formal notice. Say assume a senior yeah me lawyer. In that case, the one kwa nipaniti mijina emuma. The point is she did not tell the people of Ghana say, oh, me lawyer no. Mantimi I introduce and Antimi I notify committee and say, oh, this will be my lawyer. Now so if the committee is not properly notified, should they admit you? All I know accreditation. I say, you see. Obi anka wa kwa kodru bia wadri eni kwan se o ma ho kwan na etimi kan ya adwen kireo ba uja ne se dia ye bebo ya adwen ama straight ya oye ye bebo ya adwen ama me see one timi an contract the one of the process to na eni kwan se president yesi ena omaye any kwansi yesi ena ya ni obeye ya ni emotions try to play on the emotional keyboard of the people so obe court some public sympathy obi animo obi ehun ni awo ye wo ye chief justice abra na wo ye chief justice case ba wani mu ayenim wo pe na wo ye chief justice obi file case anopa awia na what decide awie and see that we got na apart from wo Obey Chief Justice, ultimately decided say nobody should sit on any case. This oba. Say we nigga na no more the case. We moon train. We na ba be share. Abe ma date. actually be true or false. Why you win in area? Nobody has stopped you. The judiciary is never under any attack. The court is working. Yet Obian throw state ruling and Van Koma judge BC come and read. Do you get it? And then you Obian can't say the law is the law. One can't say the law is the law. Now the law is the law, and everybody gets the law. When you are getting the law, you are crying. Is it today she got to do say the judiciary now no presiding over no? Na a messy na. The be a catcher music babia moti in huna mudino or court one emwa a time will come, you will pay for it. No fees a dear grow. And she's crying like a baby. And no baby ambuye. You see, Okaya Kokazio Poamandie. Only Poamandi sentence the engine in fuel. New fee. October 2024, 30th October 2024. Speaker lawyer Thaddeus raised objection on this justice Jaminu say Jewu ye gawu minim Jewu say Jewu ye NPP parliamentary candidate da na asema abeto omo animo no NPP for kan ho what I say enu ntino omunya ya nka unrecused ho CJC Article 128 clause 4 no a constitutional matter and a political matter and a ill conceived they cannot let Jehu off the case and or dismiss the case no ye miss and say case na Daniel for the court or no dissent no a political na a constitutional. Say constitutional, how does that political, how does that affect a next case now a work court? No? You see, Mami Wejuefi say Honyenuga, lawyer Chachuchikata, objected to Honyenuga sitting on a case involving that whole for case. No, Omutuguye. Say a baseless. There is no substance in Chachu's claim. The same Chief Justice, former Chief Justice Asiedu Nketia, Araba Isaba Tokornor. Yes. Justice Doche, in Justice Onyenuga, 2021. A month for a challenge of my involvement on a case. Omu boni nyina in two separate rulings. Omu boni nyina guye. Not a bench no subi. You get it? And ne was say oh nipu amani. Nanka hwana yemfa nko twa bench no so. President have friend Poama so ombe chair committee no onka se wompe. No me fa hwan wo. She does not understand why Poama will accept to chair the committee. Who does she want to chair the committee? Or be our person or ye fit. So or no nesi or chair committee na onfa nipa ne dimra. Na interrogate nipa no. Ye hu se nipa no so na legends to say na biases to say. The case be no mwedi in the past. Omu dina G2 mu ana obi dissent here. Onfa number 2 dane ye. Otherwise, Nicholas, nia maame ne be ye no. For me, it amounts to say ye na Ghana ba ye papa. Ne so mukasa we hu. But unfortunately, o ba ntoa na aka ho no. Content ni ehwenim. I say blue kiosk. Well, entino ba no eni lucky potent, they are impotent. Let me say that the bar is impotent until nobody takes the bar serious again. We see your man Kasao. If I got the statement, church statement in the beginning, and now Chief Justice are called publicly against Article 146 Clause 8. No, if I got and her bar are quiet. Efuagate in the bar, Jogate, Efuagate, 7 American, Ghana Bar Association, and network can a new tomb. And Omaja, Sunabada, Pa, former Chief Justice, back career, and non crum no yedidi. The former Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, Asunabada Pa, who on the Araba bag. No, she was the aide to Araba before her elevation as Deputy Attorney General.
Wow.
And nothing all come baby no. Okasa basabasa. And car right hunsem ni left hunsem. You see, Emrani do. Yeah, Tigana hano. Nobody directs a court as to where you see a dinner sem. Intino, Nicholas, you see wa. Onya asema, Babia ye jelly muntie 3-4 no. Ebetimi di wako ni akodi wasem. Babia ye di atayi asem. Ebetimi di wako ni akodi wasem. Babia si di obi asem bia wonya ye di wuko ni akodi wasem. Wonko kan che court ni so. Enana me wo hana mu jelly muntie 3-4 ntino. That memories of you jelly muntie 3 no, it is aimed at intimidating me sabe ayenzem hunu. We a young Kwasiasem, young Kasansem. We you cannot play with anybody's. You see, nobody seems to have sympathy towards Araba because Obia who Araba in court, open court, in facial expressions, say no see ya nearma, and show see where ye Obia, what I say, or ye independent, and just see where you be or ye neutral. Now, Tianyoko can is a Edu Lodge introduction now with the back case of Mukran say as a mono. Edu Lodge are all just said, oh, so I said some sako be a year or no uncle.
Yes.
And Tino Sako de no ye then or ye MPP ni. Anna Sako de MPP ni. And a harmony a cool Sako de no PNDC. And yes, PNDC for NDC for what in there you women organizer no. This is coming from an MPP stock.
Okay.
And then we bet Ghana phone na say me MPP ni. Sa akode na ka hu na ye ku na maybe twam some 40 something years ago no. Mu ni mu a me ka kire mo. This is the first time I me bo mu nyina amane. Me wo fa. No on the hwe me school. Me nya admission college University of Ghana in 1980. Na ono na na hwe me. Na ono ho na mete. And omuko din sa ade no enti ne mu sa dimi aba ha mu be ka me yaw it explains why she does not like the NDC. It explains why Uhunjo mama no wemuna that is all. Enti no woni ntimi nya adwuma mu enti common sensically sanka uwo principles uwo principles anka mama ba ya oso ani ina na uko you resign because omo the party na asifo the nananom na ekun wofa me boa no omo akun wofa de we dey na oni omutimi adwuma what is it omo akun wofa de we dey na oni omutimi adwuma. That is the issue. So for me,
okay,
Mr. Gwana, for me I'm a TI or a former Chief Justice because prima facie has been established against her and until continuously or catch Ghana force on TRC, there is no prima facie against her. Okay. Because onim see a prima facie tia upe oko oye den utiati anyway we
meda say Charles McCartney in the submission mamenko kojo ebo
ya me koda who remo se bisiwo da bia wo fa bi hu bisiwo no on your left e bi ho no so I don't do to twam kwa adwuma han bibia okay baba bia ne ko e de be ha no no any say bu bia no busan say any say Supreme Court bia no mote no ya mo hye wo ga mo de tete ayi na chi no but that platform chi no mo tete wo no any say obi ba hon man on nakoma onipa no so pa na I remember muntie tre kokoduru dem ho ye do dem ho even u phone po e bia wo pagya ne kakakra mpo a tia ye betia ne won ya irema no police for ne ade o mugire mu no and who need right to phone po ye de wo mia bibi mpo so any say obi hon mo feel okay ana we hu amodi hye nipa mo ba nipa ba e ma mudi na asem ye ne yere e kokotum Eti ede na wo de se de wo baabi a wo se baabi a mo de me kon mempe na wo bi a wo se bia mo se bia nya de wo nya asem a ye de wo baabi wo na wo kire baabi kra se de wo ma me ne wem nwa wo na me de e kama chempo ni se press conference oye no wa ye no kine anya bi obesa ko committee na nim bi mu ana we me wan cry so ko committee na nim kokoi de because amu ye nyina umu nyina amu ya we emra no chese se bibi se sia ese kan kokoam ana me boa
sanity
wa babonten amu wa ba be bie nsamani se na nsam no wa bonten dada wo ba be defend ho de na wo ba be ka ye tie otimi ba be ka kire Ghana for se wo tu kwa we security ntino ese otimi de wukru ena obako na anya bia wukru ayi wukru no wo ye ayini Ghana force or commander na so ewi ana we navy commander na so air force commander
go with him
and now ban so sebia mu sebia nyado one so police IGP it will yire ukru no ban no esa odo mko what for Ghana is kade afso ukru and obadi akoba bi nke kansema no abegyon because of security me wa constitution make it clear say security fine wo ko na do for security anko baby wo ko sebia mu sebia nyado wo ya odentu sa ape ukru dia kan ho ednako afa Ghana sika e de atwa fa obaka ho mo baso ade ni ya mpo say wasa ama mo pedium wo ba be cheche because of na ukru no obedi na bibi say de no betima ye ya wo sa be na me say wa man NPP for na leading na to we gatam kra sududu na wenya de obeti na my katika en ni kwa mpo say ke discuss no ye ne na wie dada we ni de hunya aka omo aka no say na omo so be wie na omo ani matimi ada honom ne we wu ba be cheche we mu Ghana ni bi tifie no oti obeka ma me de na anagene since a wiase by Ghana by ye hu obi so nya case mpa o ba be gente na anu na me ka che mo ase media attorney general de me nya adwene brother bi okura gongo bita no obomu no me ne nya adwene wotima se attorney general de bi press conference on court wo ye ya no obegira ho be de simasi come do benti come the way ko enno emwa me wotima se the same ma me na be enko wasem to obo na omunya bibia na wo so na be determine person o tran wasem ne so. It is that time on us open 7-0, 9-0, 5-0 no. Now for poor man can one. We no so ba sabi mu sabi or dem ran be adwuma. It is because of ka panel no. Sad ma me person o kire. And ne poor man aba be transo. O man pania friends o man be na Ghana parliament dey do baby o mon kan o mon nya niam yi. We are obi anko back. Make obi anko back na ko hwe ma me no that one e vete no. Questions e busa and answers or dey buy. Say no qualifying to be a chief justice. Obi anko back no ko bibia anko yie na so mo agina tum omo ananum kwa mfa so mo gine tum e ma mi ko na wo hie mampani da obi odi o mampani da ya wo place of esa babiem ye introduce no tv na nim bu na ni chie kese na camera da so na ne wasema ba ne ye kwakodi wasema wo minya odi kumisamenti ase ada na simasia na obentiti cases ni padodo se na reject na me ma ne de nyam nwanwa wo so ko wo yi a ai kwa benya ho ne mo a sa ni odo anto so wa mo land or down to land.
Because it's a big issue, I think, so we need to delve deeper.
Exactly.
Ghana for a bit
memo time.
The AC, before elections, so when you heard things are not happening within our judiciary.
Yes.
You and I will agree, sir, there were much more concern about the integrity and the sustainability of your judiciary in this country.
Right.
Ghana for were alarmed. And there are big media platforms, they were running polls, try to ascertain the level of trust and confidence our Ghana for war our judiciary.
Exactly.
The results were out there. If only we want to be very honest with ourselves. In recent times, there were a lot of ruling and a free Supreme Court over ordinary people could deem those ruling as very silly and it was all over. You heard a lot of unpopular names like Unanimous 11 wine because some of the rulings now was subjected to critical scrutiny. Element of common sense, reasoning and logic were missing. For instance, with this birth certificate, passport thing, and then issue. So the integrity of the judiciary became a Ghana for so much concern about. Then came to the packing of the court, came to the appointment of individuals with non-partisan ties.
Yes.
Former parliamentary candidate Wafeli, now you're appointing a whole lot. You see, morally, some of these things, had a tendency to taint the credibility of the judiciary. And see, going into the elections, these were some of the key issues on the table in Ghana for Kamwasem, and the promise was made, some effort to be done just to ensure, regularize once again Ghana for bringing hope, trust and confidence in the institution. Because Dr. MacArthur said, "Oko mind be ade ebo ho ban ye soldier for mukuratuo and enye police for I trust and confidence the individuals repose in the establishment and until of course Sri Lanka nipa no muti o man no bufu ye no they all walk to the the seat of the president drove the president out in the swimming pool in as for citizens were soldier for bit stop here because it's the trust and confidence among for one enya a reduce pe now mu lose that particular way you are done you can have all the military whatever and unfortunately for us the Jubilee House maybe see Ghana for Jiwoma there is no way anybody can hide anywhere you understand so I think that's very important for us to put these issues on table after elections you know then petitions started springing up because Mbakacho say even petition will be and kwakwa me I had in mind say I will put that particular thing in place so petitions start here Ohana president through a communication but said this is what has happened and the processes has advanced so far no. There has been a lot of your friends political cynicism, some kind of way a man for try just to make this whole thing look like a particular agenda. But for me, where I sit now, I have listened to the Ghana Bar Association, I have listened to some so-called prominent lawyers, I have listened to the opposition party, I have listened to a lot of people or more try to comment on this particular issue. But there hasn't been any single individual, including the Chief Justice herself, or your press conference, what mere pontificating at a single constitutional infraction our occasion so far in the course of this thing. Apart from Onua throw out her twisted emotions and what she thinks the law should be. You understand? When he had her disagreement on the court, I think Onya 7-0, I say 5-0. Clearly, say issues now or no cano were not grounded, firmly grounded in any law, just imaginations and her personal wishes as a judge, as an individual, even though she's a lawyer. That is why court no to say no to go, you know. But the process in some all can say president in second petition, you know. Ya man okwan amana responded. That is why whole thing started. Abra or the letter come president. And president was very kind enough and gave her a copy of that particular petition. And Nuntina Chief Justice, it will respond there, and son of the Council of State, it may establish the Premier Facia. My culture say in the establishment of Premier Facia, in that particular process, it's not an adversarial process. I better say some adverse finding will be advanced because they are just looking at the integrity and the threshold now constitution. The subsequent process after it, and I am mau kwanya, and only you have cause to complain, you understand. But baby and runner all boy yet. Kwanya ye fast so I established the Premier Facia or say there were procedural errors. My question is what has been any constitutional instrument to be an answer procedural instrument to be established? Say these are the processes that we need to go through to ensure that we establish the Premier Facia because she's not the first person to go through this process. Okay, Justice Darren and Co and other people. The former your friend is saying Shraj boss and they all went through this process.
Madam Lamti. I'm
telling you, sir, so far no, there hasn't been any legislative instrument, procedural instrument. We need to go through, say, from this stage to this stage. The process is not circumvented this laid down procedure. There hasn't been anything. What it does is a president receives a petition or forward it to the Council of State. The Council of State will do their in-depth inquiry into the matters to ascertain whether there is merit, credence in the issue, and then the report will finally be communicated to the president. This is the process. So what the hell is he talking about? The process they established the Premier Facia was an error, and she was not able to pontificate a single constitutional line. You circumvented because my culture there is no legislative instrument and a procedural document regularizes that particular process. Senka Onimbibi Apranko Chief Justice and she could have said no. In establishing a Premier Facia, we need a procedure and let us fairly ground that particular in law. What's now how many did the amount for another so no you are crying. And again, Anura, so what here in Semna I saw a visibly shattered woman all drawn in the sea of her own emotions, and clearly you could sympathize with her. And I'm a catcher say when you to me you must learn to use it wisely because to me you need castle. I was so much ashamed to the stand for such words to be coming from a Chief Justice because she ended up accusing the other people now, other judges. I must swear an oath to the stance that Daniel for in question or say na semba court. Now Justice Panamaya Oti we no so no writing a dissenting view are different from one another, and according to her, because of that particular reason or then disagree now or no a ruling in favor of Daniel Ofori, disqualified the man. I need to question. I'm saying we are talking about high profile judges. We know that their conscience, everything is intact. You've sworn an oath. So is the woman telling us, oh, to know almost swear as a judge, you know, it doesn't mean anything? Because as a judge, you know, every case is different depending on the relevance of the issue that are available. You understand? You don't jump from issue to issue because when me rule for you, I don't have any personal attachment with you. So in a subsequent case, another case about one thing, you cannot say in the future no rule for way, you know, you're over how by bias. It doesn't make sense. And clearly, what the woman was lamenting yesterday was pure raw emotions and. It was very shameful, to be very honest with you, because my press conference I couldn't even watch to the end because all you could see clearly say whether she has been misled by some individuals to go on this particular time.
So you disagree with her on the conflict of interest bait
yes, there is no conflict of interest, and that particular issue, no, she or drag it to court. Another day issue about Wegu, you understand? And again, we are talking about the most influential person within the judiciary. The topmost, the pinnacle of the judicial power. And if you go to the constitution, it is explicitly written, say, the processes involved in removing the chief justice, the hearing, must be heard in camera. The issues so far, even though you can say, there were pieces of the petition being thrown around, a media for a man can do the investigation, get it. But officially, the parties involved, none, and as speaking to the issues in public, not even government officials. But the woman brought a petition that is supposed to be listened to or looked at in public, in private, or the general public and on TV. And now all country Ghana for what is in the petition. That is a clear constitutional breach. And so even this process, clear that woman and Obi can take her to court and make sure she's removed because she has demonstrated nothing but sincere incompetence. Actually, she is not a person of character. Ghana forbid me trusting her to be the administrative head of the judiciary because what she did, a flagrant abuse of an explicit constitutional provision. And here interpretation, you see the provision must be the process must be done in camera.
I see.
You bring the petition out, discuss it, the merit, everything in it. Another day, you put judgment on it. Does it make sense? And this is a chief justice who is supposed to ensure judiciary na da ho no obebo ho ban and making sure say niam ba ya adwuma.
Eva someone who can article 1468.
Okay.
Mamin kind just so that viewers in so be or say all proceedings under this article and we need to procedure from 6 7
yes.
All proceedings under this article shall be heard in camera.
Yes.
And the justice or chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be heard in his defense by himself or by a lawyer or other aspect of his choice.
Exactly. This is a clear constitutional provision, explicitly written. You don't need any implicit analysis to understand this. You see, when this whole process started, I told you I had a lot of respect for this woman, but the tangent she's going, I have lost every bit of respect I have for her. For instance, she says, oh, I'm for intimidating. Resigning. People are threatening her life. For Christ's sake, you are a chief justice. You are not some kind of Sebi. Yes, you are not an ordinary person. This is a chief justice. Obi Tratiwa, you know what to do. You go to the police. You report the issue to the police. You don't do press conference. Media for Obi Tratiwa life are going to the media to tell media does it solve the problem? And this is the biggest person in the judiciary. Also, Obi Tratiwa is on resign. Now, in the position, on Ntim Fordjour, and for her, that is a reason why she thinks that the government is behind it. When she is unable to even identify individuals now or more threatening, again, Edu Lodge, she says that it brings a bad memory. Who cares about your emotional feelings? We are talking about Obia, why Adia, a man for free, so what a man for far, who deals so, and the constitutional process has been set in motion. Who cares about how you feel about the building? Because that building there, your friends a castle. your friends, a government building. We are not paying any this thing for that particular facility. You understand? And that place now all can say bringing memory. Now when I'm for now over the years, outfits, ideally or call prison and as a form. Do you know how they feel about the process? So I think that you see. I think that she must heed to wise counsel.
Okay.
Because tangents now on Namsono, she's breaking laws, she's defaming herself, she's proving to people that she's not a person of character. And I've sat on TV and I've told people, say, oh, person who just wait for a trouble day. Because Aseminya Maya, Obia Shekot na Obia Nimyansa, but when Asembabano, that's where you begin to test the integrity and the moral stability of individuals. And for me, what the Chief Justice sought to do yesterday was a stage managed politics.
Okay.
Somebody on attention shopping stand trying to call for people that young coming to her aid. But you see, Ghana for now, Otin Channel, I am much concerned about the sustainability and the integrity of our judiciary. They are not much concerned about individuals. So for her, she's just a minor piece of the bigger puzzle Ghana for are trying to solve. Okay. So that emotional blackmailing that she sought to do on TV yesterday, will not fly because it will not change.
Yes. 2 minutes more. You have almost done 15 minutes. But me beside your perspective on this matter. She made a point that I'll say, and I'm quoting her. That I say, hey, I to screen is my. I'll say, and she's speaking here.
Okay.
Article 1273 of the Constitution indemnifies a judge against any action or suit for any act or omission by him while exercising judicial power.
Yes.
This provision was just last week cited as a reason for declaring a petition against a Supreme Court nominee frivolous.
Okay.
And yet, I am in Edu Lodge defending myself on this petition.
She's not serious.
Debbie.
I'm telling you,
Debbie.
because as a Chief Justice, she's supposed to know better. The issues now in question has nothing to do with her doing her job as a judge. For instance,
she's saying that Daniel Ofori in
Daniel Ofori issue in question.
Yes.
So over kind petition say the ruling on that particular matter was concluded. They did everything. The judges have given their ruling. It was a side issue that has to do with personality, character, attitude, how you spoke to one person. Yapon show we camera no more free and so. What ensued between us, and you cannot capture it as part of proceedings across one team.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
So it was a side issue, and the guy stated it. So if the Chief Justice is abusing somebody off record, that is not part of your job as a judge. You understand? Because it was off record. Judges don't have given their ruling. Your dear seminary, your bunifor, and then you are telling your colleagues, look at you, you are a lawyer, an incompetent person, you do more higher training as a forum. That is not part of judicial job.
Yes,
that is a side issue. Your friends say, Obi can take you on because as a Chief Justice, you have no right to abuse anybody. At the end of the day, Nipa no challenge you, what's a young fan? Now police for a man handle na early eventer, lead to series of interactive way. So we cannot say. Your friends say, why abusing the panel? Because I court, Don't forget that proceeding ended when the ruling was given. Anything that happened beyond side issues. So for me, I think it's better say go through the process. Because you see, in some Nana Mekacha says she's emotionally a bit shattered in the sense she's not finding balance. Because one breath, you are appearing before the committee. Processing is ongoing. You are still part of the process. So why jump out of the process to come and do press conference? Press conference is right. I cannot take that away from her. But if you know, say you don't have confidence in the process that is going on, you pull out. You understand?
Exactly.
You understand? And now say you wait for the process to end, then you tell people what? This whole thing is a PR stand. For me, I think it's just she's just trying to sell some kind of emotional beta. No serious person will take it serious.
All right.
I don't want the committee to withhold her. The fact, as presented in the petition, the committee should do a thorough job. Another day, say about one thing, say Chief Justice, she will come back and take her job. And again, I'll say last one, I'll say President has signed warrant of suspension, and they had a public go to me say, let me tell you. If you go to the Constitution, it is quite clear. Not in any term, Constitution say, President, Committee now, yes, you be dinner the next phase.
Yes.
say yetimi establish the prima facie and we na establish credence and merit and set up a committee.
Yes.
The president no to me. That is a discretionary injunction on the president to sign that warrant or not. So it is not up to you in your twisted emotions just to determine what the president should do. You understand?
All right.
That is a constitutional right. So for me, I think that she's a broken